Good morning, friends. It's me, Joey, only Caribou Weather Dude. And something I want to do in the channel here more is expand my forecast zone a little bit more to Western Canada more and more, right? On Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers on Facebook, we'll still be a BC weather group. But here in the channel, I want to expand just to get a little bit more audience. And because my weather affects you and your weather affects me, and we're all one here together anyways, we have a risk of funnel clouds in BC today, down off the south coast. That's true. Yeah, maybe water spouts and things like that. But the real risk today is for tornadoes in southern Saskatchewan, and it's bad news. That's the name of the show.
There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later.
3 more million in water.
They dry mopping this.
This episode is sponsored by the Wildfires, Floods, and Communications Podcast at communicationspodcast.ca. Yeah, that's right. The production of Butterfly Effect Communications masters of doom and gloom. They're your go-to for anything public relations. They provide services which include video and audio production, business continuity planning, and crisis communications. Communicationspodcast.ca. Let's go. All right, starting with British Columbia first today. Here's where that threat for them weird funnel clouds is. This isn't the updated map yet today. This is yesterday's map still, so maybe today's map will have something a little bit different on there today. But this is what I'm going with for video time. Gusting 50 to 70 winds, chance of isolated funnel clouds there, maybe water spout or whatever, and that's clearly not onto land. So if you're not sailing around out there, this doesn't really apply to you necessarily. But I think what's interesting is I've never seen this, I don't believe, the risk for hail out on the ocean. Definitely weird. Okay, and up that Sunshine Coast a little ways, you got the risk for a higher risk for storms today. That D area could have some heavy bursts of rain, a little bit of. I think the main threat there will be heavy bouts of rain if it does happen. And there's a sort of wider risk around Vancouver Island and, of course, the South Coast Mountains today. That they are mostly in that sea area where they may still have. Some pretty strong storms. They may still get some pretty big dumps of rain, but it seems like the target area, the best chance seems to be up that Sunshine Coast. Here in the Caribou, and down along the Columbias and Selkirks and into the Rocky Mountains and whatnot. Here in the eastern Cordillera of the mountains, we got non-severe popcorn storms most likely today. Here's our big threat in Western Canada today. We're looking at chance of tornado down there south of Regina. That's one of the all-time great areas in Canada as well, but we also have that risk of funnel clouds from maybe almost Calgary, but hitting eastern Calgary over to the Alberta side of the border. If you go up through, I think that would include places like Drumheller and that Highway 7 that I think that is called, or maybe it's the 14 goes over to Rosedale or Saskatchewan. They don't make these maps very. Up by Churchill today, you got a pretty high risk just over, so good luck on that. Hope you see some hail and some strong gusts of wind. But yeah, it's definitely this B area and this D area we're looking at, where D, we have a very high risk for storms to fire off there and for them to produce possibly an isolated tornado. But that B area as well, just because you're not in it, doesn't mean that Regina and Yorkton couldn't be good examples of places that might see an isolated tornado. So we're very concerned for our prairie friends today. Right here in BC today, well, that's a pretty messy looking map actually. So I got a bit of a trough down here in the southwest, so that would maybe increase your chances up there for a bit of a chance of thunderstorm down there. Maybe not quite. Maybe Nelson up to Golden kind of stretch, something like that. Looks like we got isolated towering cumulus going on there this morning, right? So this is our sort of the area we were kind of watching. Intermittent precipitation if you go up towards, I'd say west of Prince George, right? So we're hoping that some of this hits fire out there in the Tweedsmuir. Isolated towering cumulus up and down. So you may even see up and down the coast mountains a risk. If I just look at these isolated towering cumulus, what's the chance that one of them fires off into a popcorn storm? It's there, definitely. You have the warm front ahead of it, cold front behind, and it's occluded up into, and so that's why we have a precipitation that's intermittent, and that's what we're hoping that we get some of this. Some of this will come inland and Tweedsmuir fire. Of course, frequent towering cumulus now, and once it hit in the afternoon down in there in the Kootenays. So broken cumulus as well. Occasionally towering cumulus still up in that coast. And we get to the later part of the afternoon. Now we see that storm risk, frequent towering cumulus into the Caribou, into the Rocky Mountains there. there across the into the Chilcoot and into the Coast Mountains there, and then we have that risk for higher storm potential with I don't know if we'll see a lot of lightning in those coastal storms, but we're definitely going to see some big rain, and we could see some of that. Funnely type thing as well. Looking at the most unstable cape today. There you go, into that southern Saskatchewan. So here's what we're going to be watching for. You see a little bit of that in the BC as well. So here's a supercell composite. You can see where those supercells most likely to go there in southern Saskatchewan, right? That's key area we're looking at. And maybe a chance of that on Friday into the eastern side of Manitoba. So we see that convective available potential kicking off big time in the southern Saskatchewan. A little bit there up into sort of a central northern part of Alberta there, if you look sort of north to east of Edmonton. A little bit in the Caribou as well, a little bit down through the Rockies, and we see some of that convective available potential energy out towards the ocean there. So BC, not looking like we're going to get that tornado weather that Saskatchewan's possibly going to get today. And we watch, there it goes into southern Manitoba on Friday. Here we go, just looking again today, see where that threat is. And this is really, like they said this is an upper level low kind of formed over here. And one of its children, one of its offspring has come across the prairies, and that's what's giving us our unstable weather today. There we go, probability of a high convective available potential energy. Gives you just that little bit of an idea of what we're looking at, and maybe in a few days we're going to see another storm event down southern British Columbia. Again, convective available potential energy on this map, southern Saskatchewan, but all the way up towards Churchill, all the way through that western part of Manitoba. So far, though, no severe watches or anything like that. Everything's for air quality advisories so far in the Saskatchewan. We do have a heat warning, so that's helping. Maybe we did point out a couple days ago that it's going to be warmer in Alberta side than it is here. Heat warning in Northern Ontario right now. Special air quality statement goes on there as well. We got a bit of an air quality statement in BC from our big fire at Tweedsmuir that's causing all the problems. Here we are Wednesday morning looking at where the thunderstorms are going to fire up today in the prairies and whatnot. So look at this. We got large section all the way possible from Churchill, Manitoba almost, all the way to, I'd say like Nanton, Alberta or whatever, right? It's a long stretch of like this one line of storms. It's these isolated guys, and that's how it often works. These guys that get on their own, they're the ones that have the chance to get spinning, right? So we're watching those guys. When these are a big, strong line, often the more likely that you get a storm that's in a big strong line, and then more likely the damage that's happened to your house, if you've had damage, happens in this big long line. But the reality is it's these individual ones that drop the tornadoes. That's most often than not. So Alberta looking very stormy, very widespread stormy. Here in the Caribou today, not anything crazy going on, but by 2 o'clock we could see that development start to really kick off. Got the short wave trough here, and you have these nice bends in the isobars, and that's usually pretty telling. So it looks like that isobar bend goes just sort of north of me here. So we'll be kind of watching for Cornell Williams Lake for what I consider to probably be non-severe thunderstorms this afternoon. And we go 7 o'clock tonight, and now we're looking at these very large, very entrenched storms that are, trying to sneak their way across the Montana and North Dakota border, right? So Regina, you could be at threat today. This sort of corner of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, that's generally one of the most active stormy areas in Canada. I know Justin Ordle's very upset at himself today. He's being invited to give a presentation there at the local theater in Brandon, Manitoba. They're going to be watching Twisters there tonight, and he's going to be going there to give a presentation on what storm chasers are. They go talk about storm chasing, then you can't do it. So unfortunately, Justin is kicking himself, but that's just sort of the irony, kind of kicking himself. But yeah, we see those lows sitting right there in the prairies. We're going to see, nighttime thunderstorms kicking off there. It's going to be flashing all night long. Watch that for sure. These storms will maintain some dangerous status. And then in the morning time, they will try to find the energy once the sun comes up to go next level again. So these strong storms are sitting there just waiting to go all night, and it'll be a matter of how much can this energy get past Manitoba in time. And the high pressure sort of setting in over Alberta. So things looking pretty calm for Thursday in BC and Alberta. We do have a little bit of a risk of thunderstorms on the Vancouver Island stretch still again. So they're late season, storm season. That's not the first time I've seen that there, although I never noticed that until the last couple of years. So maybe that's a bit of a new thing. But in the late season, we even had that tornado that happened in Vancouver. And then Friday, we're looking at larger set of thunderstorms in BC. This could be a pretty good outbreak. In fact, I'm a little surprised seeing how this has popped up. Much more interesting looking Friday than maybe I was expecting in BC. So this low is going to sort of take off from BC, and it's going to get going this weekend. And when it does, finally we'll start to lose our upper level low that's been plaguing us for so long, but it will send some massive storms to southern BC, and it will send some of that stronger storms into Saturday, especially in the prairies. We can see some of these ones be quite dangerous again. So. Look, Justin, your last chance for a strong chase isn't over, right? We could definitely see some more of that by this weekend. Not too far from you in Brandon, Manitoba. Well, that's more or less what I got for you today. Just a little look at wild and wicked weather in Western Canada. Okay, hit like, share, subscribe. Please join the Patreon channel. It would help me very much because all I want to do is talk about weather. And I want to be more prolific, which means maybe I'm going to make videos more often, like every day make a forecast video. But that also means that maybe if there's not that much to talk, I don't want to keep saying the same things every day. It's like, a lot of what I have to say about British Columbia I've already said in the last number of forecast videos. And now it's just kind of like little updates and little amendments, right? I haven't said very much about the prairies. So look forward to the channel. I'm going to be talking more and more Western Canada weather stories. It's just going to have something to say every day. So people keep coming back, keep watching, keep subscribing, keep hit like, keep sharing, keep helping me grow the channel because this is what I want to do. I love doing this. Okay. Thanks everyone. Bye now.